I mean, I'm on Twitch. Where do I go from there?
Cabin Fever live stream.
Yeah, and we are live, by the way, guys.
All right, in there.
Go.
Oh, I see it. Here, our first one.
Hello, everybody. We are now live in the show. Welcome to the show. My name is Jeff with the G. I'm with Scabs the Clown, and we are talking. We're gaffing the truth today, and we're going to be talking Hollow Earth, Inner Earth stuff. And we have a great guest right below us. That is the wonderful Master Paradox. Paradox, how are you doing today? That good. All right.
Oh, we're live now. Yeah, we're up.
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
You doing intros? Am I doing intros? What's going on, man?
Can you hear me, Scaps?
I mean, go for it, bro. Where do you want to? I mean, I'm all over the place right now.
Can you guys hear me?
Jeff, but
Oh, sorry. No, I got to
hey,
fix it.
what's up, guys? This is Gaffing the Truth. I'm Scabs the Clown. If you saw the intro, this show just kind of started off as Jeff and I, drunk one night talking. It's like, let's do a show about weird stuff, cryptids and conspiracy theories and aliens and whatever the hell else weird stuff that we felt like talking about. God, what episode is this now? 6, 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our 6th show. Jeff, I can't hear you at all.
Yeah, I can't hear him either.
Yeah, you're silent, dude.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, well, there, right there, silent next to us is Jeff with a G, the guy I decided to do this show with, and right under us we've got our buddy Master Paradox. I've known this guy for a while, done some shows together, been to shows together, just a general love of conspiracy theories, and also because of that, I thought it was really weird that I was bringing up stuff about Hollow Earth that you didn't know.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me now?
Well, a lot of the terminology.
Yeah.
There was a lot of the terminology. I wasn't really. I didn't remember none of it. But yeah, when you explained it to me, and I'm just thinking, oh yeah, I did come across something like that, like the ant people. That was.
Yeah.
That threw me off a little bit, but then I looked into it, and it was like, oh, okay, I know what this is.
Yeah. But before we get into all this, I just want to say I did watch your one chip challenge video. How were your bowels the next day?
Well, I mean, it woke me up early, so I didn't get to sleep in late like I usually do, and so it was a little uncomfortable, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it looked pretty rough.
Eating it was the bad part, and I'm not gonna do it.
It looked fun. I've thought about doing it. I've seen a lot of people do that challenge. That's like, ooh, that looks rough every time.
It's spicy coming back out.
What's that? So, Hollow Earth, where do you want to start? Here, actually, you know what? We'll start right here. The Hollow Earth was proposed by Edmund Halley. Yes, that Halley. Halley's Comet guy. In the 17th century, he just kind of proposed that he was like, the Earth is hollow. There's possibly another world in there. But it was disproven by Pierre Bouguer in 1740, and then definitively by Charles Hutton with his Chilean experiment in 1774. The Chilean experiment was done on a mountain. It was funded by the Royal Society, so obviously you can't trust it. It was measuring deflection of the vertical due to gravitational attraction, meaning like the gravitational attraction of the mountain was too strong, meaning the Earth is way much bigger than the mountain, which means that the gravitational attraction pulls the Earth into the core we believe we have. But we all know you can't trust that.
Yeah, I started noticing a lot in the research I was doing that where it would be brought up that everything was not like they taught us, like gravity. Gravity is like completely incorrect from what we've been taught. You know, it's like it's something else. Like it doesn't even exist because of how the Earth is like hollow, and because of the hollow Earth, it changes all of it. You know, all the information that we've been told that was based around a more solid Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like all those things connect into gravity and whatever the atmosphere, and
And which is weird because we don't even technically, if we're to believe, what we've been taught, we don't even have a solid Earth. There's layers, and the core is molten. So I mean, I wouldn't consider that solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, there is a lot of examples that you can use just to say, hey, you can at least go inside the Earth, regardless of what you believe. There's, we go to like natural caverns and we see like the Grand Canyon and, like you said, volcanoes. Everything is like a pathway, inside the Earth. It doesn't, stop somewhere like it's like they're teaching us with the crust and the core and the mantle or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
the Hollow Earth. I mean, that kind of also goes to like there's a million caves that they've found all over the Earth that like lead to nowhere, or you get to this part of the cave and there's just a gorge that you can't even see into the bottom of because there's no light. You have no idea how deep it goes or anything. Then there was the Siberian experiment where they decided to tunnel into the Earth, and they got, what was it, 8 miles down, and then they sent a microphone down there, and they abandoned the project because the tectonic plates rubbing together sound like the screams of hell.
Yeah, I heard it. It did sound like that.
Yeah, it really did. I've heard the audio. It's wild.
I mean, I wasn't there though to listen for myself, but that is an interesting thing.
I know. Like, I would love to hear that. Yeah, there was another thing. They said it was way too hot. You're looking it up. You're gonna play it. Yeah, I mean that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with like the Hollow Earth theory, but it is really interesting because they did like drill into the Earth.
It is connected.
And that was like for no reason whatsoever, other than like they're like, all right, the Americans are beating us in the space race. Let's dig down instead of going up.
Yeah. Well, see, that was a topic I wanted to get into about how we have everything kind of reversed almost from how we look at space. Things are always coming in. Like the ancients, how they had the gods that visited them, and just coming in ships and shuttles or whatever. And we always would explain that it came from the sky when we don't know how far from the sky it came. You can't, you don't see it coming from that far away. It could have came around, the planet from another area.
Yeah.
And visited.
Yeah, that's one of the theories. They were underwater. They come from the ocean, like like they find caves in the ocean that, like that's where they actually live, which kind of goes into the Hollow Earth theory.
Yeah.
Or like the movie Abyss.
Well, Christopher Columbus, right? Didn't he see things come out of the water that kind of led him somewhere?
Yeah, he saw lights under the water and lights coming out of the water. And I've actually had fishermen friends tell me that they've seen stuff like that too. I mean, it could be argued, bioluminescence, but when it's like going under the boat at speeds that they can't explain, like that's a whole nother thing.
There definitely has to be a downstairs, to all this.
Yeah.
There's something to us, and we're under something at the same time, Let's see.
Mhm.
Cool.
Oh, okay. I thought I was waiting for you to play it. Um, no, I got you. One of the things we were kind of joking about earlier, one of the very important things to know about Hollow Earth is thank you, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. I
To those who discounted the Siberia sounds from Hell's Story, it is true, and I, for one,
I haven't seen that
wish
movie in
it
so long. I
wasn't.
think I saw it like when it came out, and I was like, "Oh God, this is garbage." But
well, I mean, it touches on the whole Jules Verne, side of it, the journey to
yeah,
the center of the earth. But it's kind of
and-
some visuals and of how it could be possible and everything like that, which is pretty cool.
yeah. There was another thing I didn't get a chance to actually look this up, but there was the Kincaid, the explorer, was exploring the Grand Canyon and found a cave that he went into, and it led him down into this whole system, and he ended up finding God, what was it? Basically artwork from all around the world. Like there was like Egyptian style statues, but then he went into another room and it had like Asian characters like drawn, like the writing, like characters and stuff from India and all over the world, just in this cave system that he found in the Grand Canyon. And now that cave system has either been blocked off or people just don't know where it is. People claim to have found it, but then they were rushed away by park rangers and stuff. Yeah.
To those who
Oh, I was gonna say that's like I don't think that was it. That was super echoey and weird, but like wouldn't surprise me if that's what the inner earth sounded like.
What happened?
Okay, cool.
Rick, listening from
Was that
Chicago.
it? No, that wasn't it, right?
And so I submit now they cleaned a better copy
It's a blue
to you,
screen.
and I warn you,
It'll
what
be
you
like
are
a
about
blue
to
screen.
hear
Like every
is
one that I
very
found,
disturbing
it had like
indeed.
a blue background with some white lettering, and then it had that guy talking. What we found was very disturbing. So,
Yeah, that was like somebody's like hardcore remix of it.
yeah, that scared me too.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh yeah, there was that natural gas deposit, and they were like, we'll just light it on fire, get rid of it, so we can continue our project, and it just never stopped burning. No, actually, the moon and
Antarctica.
I've got that written down too. The Hollow Earth. That is where some people claim the Nazis went because of their the whole Antarctica theory that Nazis went to Antarctica and they were setting up a base there. And there was the Operation High Jump. And Operation High Jump was a scientific mission that, you know, they went to Antarctica to set up like a small American base to do scientific research. They were going to call it Little America. There was also like talks of they actually had to have a UFO dogfight, basically, because they took a whole like Navy fleet up there. We're like, yeah, we're just going to set up an experiment base, like a laboratory. Yeah. But those Nazis, those aliens, they're all fighting them. The UFOs are coming out of the water. That's a really crazy story too.
Yeah.
But also like Admiral Byrd, when he went to Antarctica, he found the entrance into the Hollow Earth. But on his way there, he was flying over Antarctica, and he claims to have seen dinosaurs, mammoths, Greenland, all kinds of stuff. And then when he was getting closer to the actual pole, he lost control of his airplane, and there was a voice broadcasted. I don't remember if it was over the radio or in his brain, but it was like, "Don't be alarmed. We're not here to hurt you, but we're going to guide you to us," basically. The whole Admiral Byrd story is insane.
Yeah, that was very.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird that a lot of comic books actually did take a lot of their stories from conspiracy theories and things like that, just to make them a little more real for people. And it's sad that, you know, people will be spouting this stuff and not realizing that they're just quoting a comic book. Or they're just quoting a comic book and fucking with people.
He was like threatened, or not threatened, but he was like warned or something, right? Like when we got down there, the Admiral Byrd, he was like, didn't they give him like some kind of message or something, like to tell us?
Yeah, they did. They were like, basically, they're like, "Hey, you're fucking up. You're supposed to unify, you know, your world, not, you know, fight each other. You're going to destroy the planet. And if nothing's done about it, we will have to intervene." So like basically it was a threat. Like it was like, if y'all don't get your shit straight, we're going to come out and we'll destroy you to save ourselves. Because if we destroy the top of the earth with our nuclear war and everything else, then, you know, the Hollow Earth's going to be, you know, screwed too. Yeah, of course not. Because they're all in Antarctica. They're hanging out with also it was Nordic aliens. That's basically what he described. And we talked about Nordic aliens on our first episode. The Nordic aliens are very tall, look like Nordic people, like long blonde hair, you know, very fit, very muscular. They're very attractive people that their powers, like they have like mind control to an extent, like they can talk to you like through their brain. They can kind of convince you to do stuff, but apparently that didn't work. Well, it might have worked on Byrd, but he couldn't convince anybody because the government basically told him like, "Hey, you didn't see any of this. Nothing happened. Stop talking about it."
Yeah. He said the Mayans were down there too, right? Doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
The cigar-shaped shuttles, and apparently we've seen one of those shuttles before, like as a meteorite, or we were told it's a meteorite. And it was like the same shape, basically. And the Nazis are like down there doing their Third Reich thing without
they've got the bell, the time travel thing down there, and yeah, there's so many theories about the Nazis in Antarctica. It's like this is where the Third Reich went, and that's so weird to me. It seems like such a stretch, but the fact that it's just way out there kind of makes it a little more real.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, because like, you know, no, go ahead.
The Dalai Lama, man, he apparently he was like sanctioned by them, by whoever lives in the inner earth, and he's like one of their representatives. Like, I looked up the Dalai Lama. I didn't really know what he had done. I just always heard about him, and I finally did some research on him, and it was like, holy shit, that's really what he has said. You know, he was sanctioned by the inner earth beings as a representative or something.
Buddhism talks a lot about all sorts of different stuff, including things like in Buddhism there is actually a inner earth sort of mythology within it. So it's not surprising that Tibetan Buddhism runs really big with the kind of Hollow Earth stuff. So that I do know about. I don't know about the other stuff, but I do know about like Buddhism and like the weird stuff like that because like yeah, but Tibetan Buddhism gets pretty interesting but really weird.
Yeah,
So
Buddhism is very much like reincarnation, but while you're alive, be a good person, be peaceful, be helpful. It's like, I mean, with most religions, it kind of gets like mixed up in all the other politics, but it's like, yeah, just be a good person, and when you die, you're going to be something cool.
Well, the fact is, there's like 8,000 gods and like angels and stuff like that, and also included with Buddhism. And they have things like Shambhala and Shangri-La. Those are all legends of hidden cities that may have been within the earth. So
yeah, hell yeah, Shangri-La, whoop whoop.
But yeah, I've heard some like tales about the Asian. They had like a map of it, the inner Earth workings, and I remember one detail where it was like it's surrounded by Mercury or something, like a river of Mercury flows around it, or whatever land. I can't remember the word for it, what they called the place. But
there was something land. You're right. There's Agartha, that theory, and then there was something land. And the something land one. God, I should have written that down. But that's where the green children came from.
That's northern Europe. That's the green children stems more from northern European, non-Scandinavian. So like where there's like northern France, England, a little bit of Germany.
Yeah, but the place where they claim to have come from was called something land, someone's land. I forgot the name of it. But the green children, they just a story. There's no like true documentation, just like stories passed down. The green children, they just kind of showed up in a field somewhere, and they were like, we went to this cave and we ended up here. And they said the place where they came from was permanent twilight, and it caused their skin to be green. So everybody in the Hollow Earth is green. When there was a boy and a girl. The boy was kind of sick, and they couldn't get him to eat anything. They wouldn't eat meat. They wouldn't eat bread. They wouldn't eat like just anything. And they gave him like, here's these like beans, and the kids loved the beans. That's what they ate. The boy ended up like, yeah, right. The boy succumbed to his sickness. He died, unfortunately. But the sister, she got a little healthier. They taught her English. Well, I say English. They taught her their language. She learned how to speak it, and over time, she eventually, her green skin faded. She had normal skin, probably due to being in our regular sun, and she ended up getting married. And, having kids in a normal life. And they say over time, she like just kind of forgot about all of it. She didn't know what went on in her childhood. She just kind of knew about like not feeling well and ending up in a village. And then now she's got a normal life. But God, I can't even think of what that's called. It's New Something Land or Something Land. It's not Agartha. Agartha's like a totally different theory.
1 second. Let me see if I can track something down. Keep talking. I'll re-reference it.
Yeah, look up the green children. See if you can find it.
What I am doing. The Green Children of Woolpit.
Woolpit.
Woolpit's an actual city in England.
Yeah.
Woolpit's in Suffolk, to be exact. Back in the 12th century. Green Children Folktale. Doesn't. I'm still looking. Give me a minute. So far, it's not telling me where they came from. So, anyway, keep chatting. I'll come back to it. Or if you want to chat more about the weird stuff, it's like 12th century. So, 12th century Suffolk, England. So, St. Martin's Land.
St. Martin's Land. That's it. Yeah. That's where they claim they came from. Like, which is weird. Like they didn't speak the language, but St. Martin's Land is, the name of the place where they were. They said there was an inner sun. So that might be like the core of the Earth theory. There's an actual sun inside the Hollow Earth, which I mean,
yeah,
I don't understand how that works based on what I know about our sun in outer space. I mean, maybe it's a different concept. Maybe it's a different type of gas that burns, not as hot. Who knows?
Artificial.
What's that?
I mean, man-made.
Yeah, it's a man-made sun.
Like
yeah, and isn't that scary as shit? Scientists have tried to make a sun. It was like, why would you do that on Earth? Why would you try to make a sun on Earth?
It was like explaining kind of like the aurora borealis, and like how it might be a reaction from that sun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
No, I've heard that, like the reflection out of the ocean onto the sky is like the aurora borealis.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that could be disproven because other planets actually have auroras. Saturn has one, and I believe Mars has one too.
All that is just the way the lights are hitting on certain parts of the atmosphere. So
yeah, but see, that's the other theory, that the aurora borealis on Earth is coming from the ocean. It's just a reflection of their sun coming through at certain times.
Well, going back to the green, just the green children, real quick, because I'm doing research. Apparently, that sort of story was very popular for the time. Like Sir Gerald of Wales tells of a similar story of a boy who, after escaping his master, encountered two pygmies who led him through an underground passage into a beautiful land of field and rivers, but not lit by the full light of the sun. So that's so the green children's been a very popular folktale myth since people could talk.
So yeah, okay. I mean, I've kind of heard some other ones, but like that's the main one the one that I was just talking about. That's the one because like instead of like leading them down, these children got lost and they had to rehabilitate them. Basically, it was flipped. So that's probably why that's the more popular theory.
Because supposedly this girl came and lived with us, essentially.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. I'm just going through all the weird stories of that time. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, see if you can look up. I didn't get a chance to do anything on this. Maybe Paradox, you did anything about we talked about the Hopi and the ant people. Like, were you able to find any more about that?
Yeah, that's it brought up the Grand Canyon. How the Grand Canyon holds one of the entrances. Like there's entrances all over the planet, and we have a few of them just here in this country that lead into the earth. And one of the main ones, or something, an important one, is in the Grand Canyon. And there's even like markers for it. You can go down there and you can see one of them. And I don't know if you're allowed to go inside or whatever, but
I doubt it.
And that was like
it's for your safety, and that's why they haven't turned it into like a park or anything, because they don't want people to go down there. Maybe that's the same one I was talking about with Kincaid. Like there's too much shit in there that will make people question their reality, so they don't want them to go in there and see it.
Yeah, and that was part of their creation story, I guess, is when the Earth had flooded some civilization away that once inhabited that area, the Grand Canyon. The Hopis came out from inside the earth, and I guess the Hopis are, of that bloodline, I guess, whatever's going on inside. And then there was the ant people like follow. If you go into those entrances, supposedly that's where they would meet up with these ant people that were like pale, being hunched over, real tall, and it kind of helped them. But that's kind of like that with all the native tribes. There's always some weird story that's similar. Similar like that. That has that makes you what else is among us. Or
that's what I've noticed about like a lot of the Native American stories. Like Native Americans don't have a lot of flaming chariots from the sky or sky gods or anything. It's always inside the earth gods or people that, help develop them as people, taught them how to plant, how to hunt and everything else.
Well, yes, I would agree with the southwestern southwestern natives probably was true in that respect. If you're going to go with that, I mean, if you go farther north, you are that does shift.
Yeah.
So like you go up to the plains and up north, you're going to shift. There'll be more from the sky or more from animals versus like but yeah, definitely things like the Hopi, the Pueblo, the Navajo, even like a little bit with the Comanche and Apache, you'll see a little bit more.
The Algonquins. I mean, but you go a little further south with like the Mayans and the Aztecs, and they talked about the things from the sky as well.
Yeah.
So it's weird that like this one part of the country had this theory that they came from inside the earth, and then other parts of the area had it, where they came from outside the earth. But like that's just like, the bottom of it is, it was outside help from non-human beings.
Yeah.
There was also
whoever it was.
So Mr. Mike Terra is asking us if there are any gods inside our butthole. Not today. I haven't had. It's COVID, so you can't go out and like socialize. So there's no gods inside of my butthole as of yet.
Some people believe in a shit demon. I mean, isn't that a real thing? A shit demon? Yeah.
My deity is inside my butt.
Next conspiracy. We proved that one right.
Yeah.
No, actually, if you believe there's gods inside you, it's probably just tapeworms or some other parasite.
Yeah. I have to agree.
Technically.
Yeah. One of the theories that kind of goes off of the ant people and kind of, I think it was tried to use to like disprove it, is basically like the caves that the Hopi found and that other people found were vein-like, so they were tubes, and they were able to wind like that, which is a lot like an ant colony, or any other burrowing insect, colonizing insect does the same thing. Termites, they have tubes, and that's why they thought maybe like, oh, that's why they thought it was ants, and they just claimed to see ant people down there.
Yeah, that could have been more just a rather than a physical, how they looked. It could have just been how they acted,
It's more based on frame of reference. Like we kind of talked about with Alien when we did the Alien show. Like people describe stuff as a certain way because that's the only frame of reference they have. So it looks, this is what it is. So it must be that sort of thing, just because causation, correlation sort of set up. So it's like, not that it actually is that, but that's the closest they had to understand what it was. It's like saying it's not necessarily lizard people. You just saw somebody wearing like a really skin tight suit that you assumed was skin. And so that's sort of
yeah.
So,
yeah, it looked like scales to you. So
yeah. So it could be the same thing as far as they were assumed to be ant people because they came out of like veiny holes, which looked like ant hills.
Mm-hmm.
Wheels and wheels within wheels.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then,
Like
and
the
then
Bible
they kept
said.
calling, and then every other person was called an uncle. So
Yeah. Oh, also another thing that kind of goes off of that. We could probably do a show on this sometime. Giants that live in mountains, like not live in mountains, but they're like dormant inside mountains. Because like there's a lot of people who will see a rock face that kind of looks like a face, and a lot of times those will end up on mountains and places that have gold in them. And gold doesn't just like, it's not like just a large deposit of gold. Gold actually is in veins, and they think the giants, once they turn to stone, their blood turned to gold, and that's why the gold grows in veins. So maybe there's giants in the, actually, I think there was talk of giants in the Hollow Earth too.
Yeah, there's a whole big thing about giants like existing and stuff like that. There's a whole big thing like yes, we'll do another show about giants because I know a big thing. There's a big thing about giants back in like the 60s.
Hell yeah, I want to do giants and Norwegian trolls.
All right, we'll put that on the list.
Yeah. And if any of you guys in the comment section, if y'all want to add to the conversation, or if there's other stuff you want to see us talk about later on, yeah, feel free to comment.
I want to bring up something real quick. It's a real short point, but the land before time. You remember, where did they go? where were they looking for, right? What was their destination?
Man, I didn't even think about that. They were looking for like the promised land kind of area.
Yeah. I mean, that's how we are, you know, we are committed to this, you know, standard belief of a, you know, just the surface earth or whatever, but everything we're infatuated in, you know, it preaches the opposite. Like, you know, we all loved that cartoon when we were kids, and, you know, we didn't carry that with us. And we're not like that with the standard either. We don't obsess over it and go, oh, that's my favorite. You know, we do that with the other stuff, Journey to the Center of the Earth, you know, for time, you know.
So but like the destination usually is like they have to like go through either some kind of mountain trail or a cave or something like that to find this, you know, beautiful part of the land where they're completely safe. Because that's happened in other movies too. Like it's always like some kind of like cave or a mountain trail they have to go through, and they end up like in a hidden area. I mean, what was it? Oh God, what's that cartoon? The Spaniards and the Gold. Oh God.
The Road to El Dorado.
El Dorado, yeah. I mean, they pretty much do the same thing.
That's the getting to the hidden whatever is a very common like treasure hunting thing. I mean, that's been around like since once the Americans started getting colonized, they'd heard tales of this sort of stuff, and just I think a lot of it was translation error. To be fair, so that's what they took to mean. Like the El Dorado was a city supposedly paved with gold. You had to go over the river and through the woods, and 6 times.
Yeah, to grandmother's house we go.
Yeah, stagger, trip this way, or is it trip, stagger? Not sure. It's a Yellowbeard reference.
I mean, Indiana Jones did it. You know, he found the Holy Grail, and he like went to a temple and like ended up in the middle of the earth. You know, like with a giant gorge they had to cross with invisible bridge, and
that wasn't invisible. It just looked a lot like the rock face, which was hidden. It was there. It just because it would look like the rock face, you couldn't see it.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Optical illusion.
Invisible.
Optical illusion.
Okay, well, I watched Lovecraft Country, and a similar thing happened, okay?
Yeah.
Also, if you haven't watched Lovecraft Country, it's a fun show.
With the new one?
Yeah, on HBO,
yeah, I'm watching it.
I'm waiting for about 1 or 2 more episodes, and I'm going to renew with my HBO Max for like the 7 or 10 days, so I can just sit there and just spend an afternoon and just watch them all in a row.
Yeah, because I mean they've only got like I think it's like 4 or 5 episodes at this point, but it's a fun show. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's like 8 or 10 episodes. So when it gets to be about that set, like 1 or 2 episodes left, that's probably when I do it because I'm going to time it out right, so I can try to watch those last 2 either live or I can just like power through them all. So I can do it that way.
Yeah.
Because you get 10 days for free and then you can unsubscribe. That's my plan.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Because I'm poor. As much as I would love to subscribe to all these different services, it gets pricey after a while. And the only one I know I'm going to have to purchase is going to be CBS All Access because when they drop the stand on there, I got to watch that.
I forgot they were doing
that. Did drinking the Holy Grail make Indiana Jones immortal? That is a good question. Technically speaking, it doesn't make you immortal, but it does lengthen your life. They put that in they talked about that because the reason that Knight was still alive, because he was getting older as time progressed, the only reason he lived as long as he did is because he kept drinking with the cup. But after time, but you don't escape death, you just lengthen out when you will die. But 400 or 500 years is basically immortal in a human's eyes anyways, so.
Yeah, I don't want to live forever. Unless I can go to the Hollow Earth, I don't want to live forever.
When we're ready to do rocket ships and move around space, I'm down. So that's when I do it.
800-year lifespan sounds good to me.
Nah, it sounds. I'd get
tired of it. What they're living.
If I could travel, that's the thing. It's like if we can go to if we can do rockets and like travel the universe, that's when it would be worthwhile. Like sitting here every day, as much as cool as it would be, is to do the Gaffing the Truth for thousands of years. I want to go do other stuff.
we run through everything in like 100. But I mean, that was another theory I didn't even think of, and that's been touched on in movies too.
About stuff, so
Yeah, but also using the hollow Earth to get from one side of the planet to the other. I've heard that theory before.
That's
like there's there's
China.
tunnels and other things to go through. It was brought up in that documentary, Mortal Kombat for sure. But other movies have touched on it.
And Big Trouble in Little China talks about it too.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
great documentary
Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah. But like I know that's definitely been a theory. When we talk about entrances all over the Earth, so that would totally make sense. You know, like because they're they're pretty much on every continent. So you want to go to be in Russia, and then you got to be in Arizona in an hour. Bam. You just fly through the Earth instead of going around the Earth. Save you a little time, save you a little gas.
Yeah, that was the thing I wanted to bring up about how, kind of like what I said earlier, when the things are coming from the center of the Earth that visit us, and we are giving credit to it coming from space, and it could be like that. I mean,
yeah,
there's like a advancement there. We don't even think about it. They could be able to travel super fast, and do all this stuff, and we always try to push it out away from us. We can't do that. It's them. It's over there. It's happening elsewhere. It could be right under us, literally.
Yeah, we do that because we know more about outer space than we do our own planet. Like we know so much. But we've drilled 8 miles into the Earth, and we know what 5% of our ocean. Like we know very little about the Earth we live on. Like we have assumptions, we have things that sound really right, and things about the Earth get disproven all the time, and they just kind of get swept under the rug because it's like we don't have time to change every single learning book, every single piece of history, anything like that. They keep the same history books when we were in school. It'd be the same book for up to a decade, even though we were learning new things, and we still learn new things, but they're kept in those books because they don't feel like trying to explain to old people like, hey, sorry, we were wrong. That's why everybody still thinks that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Well, so we get drip fed like what we think we know instead of what we're learning. And I get it. It's cheaper that way. But with the internet, I mean, I could totally see. I think schools have gotten rid of books, but then they still have a curriculum online that they have to follow.
Well, definitely this year with the
with
the way it's there's a few people who still there's some schools doing in-school learning right now, and but yeah, a lot of it's become online, or they'll do a dual thing where everything's paperless, so it's pretty much online regardless. So even if they have assignments, even if they're going to class, they're using their laptop or their phone to pass stuff back and forth.
Yeah, no, I've seen that. It's wild.
All right, so Mike Terrace in the chat. First off, he goes, "We were supposed to have flying cars and shit by now. The next 50 to 100 years might be disappointing." Which I went, flying cars 2023 for consumers. I watched the thing about it, and he goes, "I bet you $5 the biggest tech advancement is a VR masturbator instead. Already exists as well."
I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah, there's ladies has existed far longer, but for dudes, it even exists for dudes now too. So
yeah, I mean, but it's weird, technology, how it comes and goes, and everything. Like one of the things I like to think about that is I remember in elementary school, my best friend got a laser pointer. It was huge. It was like a pen, and it cost $120, and his mom bought it for him to shut him up. And I was like, yeah, laser pointer, cool. We can point at stuff and blah, blah, blah. And now I can get a laser pointer at the dollar store.
Yeah.
I get them for free. From really advanced technology to a toy. Same thing with I remember I used to buy disposable cameras a lot. You can actually still buy those.
Hey,
Like, what's the point? I got a
We
camera on
went
my
from
phone.
the laser pointer to the fidget spinner, so I think we're kind of going backwards now.
Hey, I don't know, man. Fidget spinner technology is pretty amazing. I did find a Bluetooth fidget spinner with a speaker in it. So I can listen to my music in a circle, I guess. I don't know. Like,
Wow.
I almost bought it. It was $10. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. I never had a fidget spinner. I didn't see the point of them. I had a friend who bought her kid a fidget spinner, like every time he saw one to shut him up. So he had like 20 of them.
That's after my time. So
yeah, got to catch them all. Fidget spinners.
And that's how, and this relates to Hollow Earth. Anyway.
Yeah. The fidget spinner is actually Hollow Earth technology. That's what they give us. They're like, all right, you guys won't stop fucking around here. You get fidget spinners.
It's all about the harmonics. It's all about the harmonics as far as how to access stuff. Is you got to put enough fidget spinners in order to do the right harmonics to open up the earth and travel through, which is a real thing. Mm-hmm. Harmonics. That's like the thing back to like Buddhism. The Buddhist monks in Tibet is the access to things in the underworld had to do with harmonics. So like the certain voices. So that's why like tube throat singing is very it came from Mongolia and Tibet. So it's like that all that tonalness is supposed to be very spiritual to allow you access to stuff like the inner earth. It's supposed to also allow you to like levitate and all this other crazy shit too.
Yeah, I love throat singing. I think it sounds really cool.
I do too.
Also, there's that awesome band, The Who. They do like metal throat singing.
No, I like to get. I would love to see them and Bloodywood, who's like this metal band from India, like tour together.
Yeah, the Bollywood metal band. Yeah,
they're so good.
Mm-hmm. And there was something. I remember something about actually Mongolians being people from the inner earth, or might not have been Mongolians. Somewhere like Asian descent were actually people of the inner earth, and that's why their eyes look different and why their anatomy is a little different. But the thing about the eyes, that actually comes from the Mongolians. When they were up in the mountains and it was always like stormy and snowy, they had to squint a lot. So genetics made their eyes a little smaller to help with that.
Yeah, but when it comes to inner earth stuff, you look at like other animals that have adapted to the like in the dark, is the eyes get bigger, not smaller.
Or eyes go away.
Yeah, but they go big. They don't go small because you're trying to process a lot. They're trying to process as much light as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I just want to say congratulations, guys. We made it like almost to the entire show, and none of us brought up the dumb crab people joke from South Park.
Oh, crab.
Oh, you just did.
I know, but I'm just saying, like we're pretty much at the end, man. Like we got like 8 minutes left.
Yeah, we refrain from making that dumb joke. I mean, I can if you want, we can talk Land of the Lost jokes and go that route, talk Slee Stacks and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked a little bit. Journey to the Center of the Earth.
What about those worms? What about those worms?
The Mongolian death worms? Yeah. No, wrong episode. Sorry.
Or we can talk Tremor.
Well, one thing I'd like.
What's up?
What about the Mayans?
Yeah, we didn't even really touch on the Mayans too much, or the Aztecs, really. We touched on the Aztecs for other stuff, but not really the Mayans.
The Mayans, there's two explanations. There's one, they got abducted and taken back to wherever up there. Two, they went inside. If you think about it, it's like, okay, one's harder to believe than the other.
Actually, probably the more common was they got assimilated by another tribe, which is also very.
I don't know. I don't know if I buy that one because they were the biggest tribe.
Well, there were a lot of big. It was it wasn't like one. It wasn't like one day that they were gone. It was just like suddenly it was like. It wasn't like Monday they're there, Tuesday they're gone. No, it was like there was some time period there. Like the popular, more bigger consensus is that they got assimilated into things like the Olmecs, and the Aztecs and stuff like that. But it's also nice to think that maybe they got, they went off to whatever, above or
I don't know.
below. Now for them, they're
getting
more of an
like,
above. They really worshipped a lot of stuff towards the sky, though. So.
mm-hmm.
They went
Yeah.
back to Mars.
Well, I mean, they worship the sky because they knew, like, the weather was giving, basically. They worship the sky because they had the sun, which helped grow their plants, and the rain, which helped grow everything. But they also knew that, the weather was merciless, so that's why they felt they had to pray to it, because, the sun can give and take away. The sun can be too much. There could be no clouds, and it could, fry everything, or, it could be raining and flooding and terrible all the time. So that's why they worship the sky, because they weren't, they understood that stuff came from the ground, but they knew it was because of what came from the sky.
Yeah. That, and then also generally even
another thing I was.
Yeah, what?
I was wondering if like maybe like all the openings that we know of that we don't really think as openings.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bunker in Colorado, the Colorado airport. There's a military bunker that goes into that mountain right next to it or whatever.
Yeah.
And
that's where NORAD
like that all over, Yeah, that we know of, and we don't even think of it.
That's where the Stargate.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard something about that with Area 51. That little belief that, like, there's an entrance to the inner Earth at Area 51, and the Roswell was an escaped. They came through. They had found them, and they like made their way through and found like one of their ships, and they tried to fly it off, and they crashed. And they had to bring them back. I've only run across that one like once or twice. I haven't heard that theory in a long time. But yeah, no, I didn't even think about the Denver airport like that being like an entrance, but that wouldn't surprise me either. There's always talk about people going into catacombs and caves and never coming out. Like there's that video of the dude in the French catacombs. He's like walking around, he's obviously lost, and he just kind of freaks out and starts running and drops his camera, and then somebody found the camera later. But like the French catacombs are completely, I mean, they've explored them, but they don't know anything about them. They don't know where all they go. People have gotten lost in there and died in there. They don't know anything about them, how big they are.
Well, yeah,
quote
it
unquote.
was thrown over centuries of time. I do know supposedly there's a really good metal bar, like metal club in the catacombs in Paris. That's true thing. But yeah, literally it's because it's been built over several different essentially quote unquote ages of time. So that's why basically they just kept growing like for hundreds of years. So after a while, the old ones get the old catacombs get forgotten about because it's not like the maps got lost or whatever. So there, same thing with like the London same way, because they just kept building on top of each other. So they have like levels upon levels upon levels. New York, same thing, levels upon levels upon levels underneath. So. But those are also in a lot of ways. I mean, there are actually in all those cases there are underdwelling people that live there, and there are people. Supposedly, there are people who like they're generationally been like in the caverns. Same goes with some of the hill people out in like Kentucky and Tennessee and stuff. People like that in the countryside of England. Now, whether or not they're fully true inner Earth stuff, or they're just like just chilling at the cave that only goes so far, who knows? Or whether or not even these man-made setups are going far deeper than what is prescribed, because maybe that's why those big cities are where they are, because maybe they have a connection to other cities through the inner Earth. That's a thought.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is an area where they can build like that. So, you know, maybe they found something there and just kind of built around it.
Yeah, could be. I don't know.
And then it's just forgotten over time or suppressed over time.
Or both.
Yeah.
We see those temples that are like built into the earth, you know what I'm talking about? I think it's like maybe India or some part of Asia or something like that, where those huge structures are just like carved downwards into the ground instead of building it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some amazing like rock face like temples in like India and stuff. Yeah.
Well, we got about 5 minutes left. approximately. So what do we think? Hollow Earth, yay, nay, or it's nice to believe, but
I kind of think
I mean, evidence.
There are sections of the Earth that are hollow that may contain some kind of life. I don't necessarily believe, the inner sun or anything like that, but I mean, they find shit all the time that we didn't know existed. There's what is it? That cave system in like Korea, where some farmer just saw like a cave on the side of the mountain, and there's like a river. There's all kinds of stuff in there, and then you walk into a rainforest inside of a mountain. They found, new species, new life, everything in there that was previously unknown. And this was recent. This is like in the 2000s.
No, I mean that sort of stuff, yes. But do you think like there's like huge inner civilizations and whatnot?
No,
because that's the problem
no,
when it comes to Hollow Earth is that sort of stuff.
Pockets. I believe there's pockets. Whether there's intelligent life there or not, I doubt it. But I'm sure there's pockets that have undiscovered species, and they may be sentient. We don't know.
It's possible. I mean, who's to say that a bunch of, wealthy, intelligent, scientists or whatever didn't find a convenient spot, inside the Earth and decide to advance from that point, and, it could be anything. We can say it's advanced beings or creatures and stuff like that, but who knows? Okay. We definitely can go in the Earth. There's several places that people can do that, and places with water and life, vegetation and stuff like that. But going further and further, like what was it, like 800 miles or whatever, and then your gravity flips on you, and you're standing, opposite. This is the surface of the Earth, and you're standing in the inner Earth, and you're this way. I don't know. That's like a stretch. That's a big stretch.
Not like like the journey to the center Earth. Journey like H.G. Wells' Journey to the Earth. Really unlikely. But yeah, like pockets of stuff. Like I just talked about the people that there's been reported of people living within caves upon at least a generation or two. So that is an actual existence of things that's happened in history. Now, whether or not a major civilization, I'm going to lean no.
Show me.
I'm definitely Nazis. Definitely Nazis.
Yeah, it's so no. Iron Sky showed me that they're living on the moon and they're about to spring attack any day now.
Oh, you mean the Hollow Moon?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently that thing is a giant. You throw something at it and it'll gong for like 3 hours straight.
Yeah, no, like we might have to do a deep dive into the Hollow Moon sometime. Hollow Moon's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Paradox, for joining us. We had a great time hanging out with you. As we find other really cool, weird theories and conspiracy stuff, we'd love to have you come back at some point. That's something that you have an expertise in. We had a great time chatting. I'm sure everybody else liked it as well. Let's get to plugs and stuff like that. I know, Paradox, you actually have a shop called Smoking Mirror, where you make all sorts of pieces of art, and you also made the mask that you're wearing there now because it's product placement. And actually, we're both going to grab our stuff of your stuff too. So if you want to talk to them and tell them where they can find you, and also so they can buy all your cool stuff.
Yeah. So my art shop I refer to the Smoking Mirror. I go by Paradox. You'll find my art on Instagram under Master Paradox Mena. On Facebook, you'll find my page called The Smoking Mirror, and you'll know it's me through all the clown stuff. So I mean, it's horror. I do horror art. So yeah, that's one of my children that I gave away.
Got that right there in my mask, and I was looking at this number 20. How many have you done so far? The mask. I mean, you're wearing one. I know you. Some of our mutual friends have one as well.
I think I'm at 65. I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me check that real fast. Yeah, somewhere around there. No, I think I'm at 60. I think I'm on like 60 masks. So,
okay.
But that's 60 different designs.
Yeah.
60 masks designs, So I've
very cool.
duplicated a lot of them.
Yeah, like I was holding mine up. I mean, this one's obviously, custom. This is my makeup. But yeah, I mean, you've got yours on right now. These masks are super cool. And Halloween's coming up. Yeah. You gotta wear a mask anyway.
That's also true.
Hey, they're perfect for any occasion, man. You get a funeral, a bar mitzvah. They're good for all that.
If you want to make sure you're never invited again, this is the perfect mask for you. No, it's great. Everybody, pick up that stuff. It's definitely worthwhile. Smoking Mirror, you can find it on all the social medias. Drop him a line about making him some cool. Either he'll have some stuff like that. And maybe he might be able to do like a commission work with you. You guys can work it out. It's definitely worthwhile. Do you have anything to plug right now, Scabs?
No. Thursday night's a toss up. It'll happen if it happens. Doubt it'll happen. Might be another month or two for that. But then we've got Sideshow Saturdays. Boobzilla was in the chat earlier. Okay, yeah, you can check them out at 7:00. Starting off Sideshow Saturdays. Usually have a guest or maybe a replay of a cool guest. Then me, I've got somebody tentative. I'm waiting on a message. I might have gotten it while we're chatting though. But yeah, I've got a cool guest, and if I don't have them, I've definitely got somebody else.
All right, cool. Yeah, and then for Saturdays, I close out Sideshow Saturdays at 9:00, 9 Central, because people watch from all over now, which is really cool and weird. And yeah, I've got a tentative one as well, so hopefully I'll get confirmation the next day or so. If anything, I'll have confirmation by Wednesday, because Wednesday at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, I'll be doing the Devil's Hour.
Hey, nice.
Which is a weekly variety show. I've got a lot of really cool guests on, including the fact that I will be premiering a brand new video by that cool band that likes the Swinging King. So make sure you tune in, because you might get to catch that asshole being gracing your screen.
Hell yeah.
For a lot of fun, because it's I totally dug that video, so I can't wait to share that.
Yeah, we recorded it, like the video stuff, a while ago, and
I can tell based on your amount of beard.
I was having so many. Yeah, I still had a beard, and I was just having so many issues like recording it on my end. But we hit a studio, we recorded some stuff. We recorded another song, but that'll have to come out later.
Yeah.
New stuff coming out.
Yeah, so everybody, come on Wednesday, and you can watch the premiere of the new Holy Water Enema track. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I know Mr. Mike Terror's in the chat. Dude, it's amazing. I love it. I love the drop. It's so good. So I can't wait to see it. So thank you guys for tuning in live, and people who come in and tune in later. Thank you as well. If you have any questions or concerns about the show, drop us a line. You can go to devilsexhibit@gmail.com if you have any ideas. Next week, we're going to be talking cryptids again. I think we're talking goat people, I think.
I don't think we came up with an idea, but we have been talking about goat people here and there, so I'm down to do goat people.
I know we're going to be doing a cryptid. It was between that and another one. I think the other one depended on whether or not we got a special guest or not.
Yeah, we'll do Lizard Man, and we'll just talk about Eric.
Actual Lizard Man. That'd be funny, and see if we can. Anyway, but yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will see everybody soon.
All right, later, guys.
Thanks. All right, bye.